Welcome back. As you can tell, we're on a Bluebird. You ever look at these front service doors and why the hell do those come off? Well, it's not exactly easy. Kinda. But, so, pull this front panel off. Just this one right here. And there's a bolt up there. And then you're going to have a bolt right there for that little knuckle. And then right where that rusted thing is, you have one right on the top of that. And then that pin, so that bolt is, it's actually a nut, or a bolt, it's right, it attaches to this guy right there, that guy. And then you have those two and those two. That undoes the lower bushing. And we actually pulled the glass out of these windows and put them in the new doors, I should say. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those lower bolts out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so my bolts down there, the nuts, they're basically not there, so I get to drill or grind the head of that bolt off. So considering the location, I think I'm just gonna drill it. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on the tedious job of drilling those, but I'll show you the other door. So here's the other doors. These windows aren't too bad to get in. It takes a little practice. So this is what you're actually taking out, and it's just a door bushing. So it goes in there like that. So we're just going to drill out those two bolts, the head of the bolt anyway, and get ready to put these guys back in. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on drilling those out, and I'll keep you updated on my progress. Okay, so I got one door off. I'll show you what we did. Okay, so we're rust belt. So this lower bushing, all sorts of rusted. So I ended up drilling those two bolts out, and this is the one that goes on the bottom right there. And when you get it out, it just kind of spins on there, and it literally just sits right like that. So that bottom of the door pulls out, and then it drops right out of the top up there. So when you do that, you spin it, and it drops out from the perch up there, and then you just spin the door and pull that out, that little slot right there. So next, we're going to do this one. We're going to pull off this bolt right here. There's an Allen on the top and a bolt on the bottom. The top Allen is a 7/32, and nut on the bottom is a 14mm. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those off. Alright, now that we got that off, we're going to go back down underneath the bus, and we're going to pry this other one off. I'm going to undo this top bolt also. One that I showed you is up in here somewhere, behind there. But I'm going to do that after I get the bottom undone. So I'm going to get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I got that piece off right there. That's what the 14mm bolt is bolted into. And then that little rusty lever looking thing just pops right off. I found it easier just to wedge a screwdriver underneath of it and pop it up. And then it literally just falls right off. So that's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. I tore way too much stuff apart, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean that up, and we'll show you how to put it back on. All right, so we're gonna prep this door. Obviously the glass is already in. I actually put this seal on backwards. We need to flip it the other way. I thought they both went on the same way. So super easy though. Here, I'm gonna move this cart. So this seal just slides right out. It just goes in that channel. So I'm gonna flip this around and I'll be right back. Right like that. Now, smaller window goes up top. We'll put those in when we get it on the bus. So, grab your bushing and one of your mounts. So, your mounts are different, okay? So keep that in mind. This is your rear bracket. That's your front bracket. Front, rear, okay? And they go in like that. I'll show you. Bushing goes there. I'm gonna get this over to the bus and I'll be right back. I highly suggest having help with this because these doors are freaking heavy. There's the part number for the front door. So what we're going to do is we're going to maneuver that top part into that hole up there. Okay. Then we'll put the front one on. Or then we'll put the bottom in. And that one's on. I haven't bolted it up yet, but so I used a jack. So what I did is I lined that up to the top. And then I put a jack at the bottom to hold it, and I slid the bushing on and mount, and then I kind of positioned it into place and used the jack to hold it. If you have two people, you know, it's a little bit easier, but I'm just a single guy, so it's just me. So I use the jack as a helper. This bushing, it's obviously not lubricated or anything, so I just put some grease in there and lubed it up a little bit. I did have to clearance these, so this was too close to the pin for the bushing, so I had to move it a little bit. I just grabbed a little screwdriver and just kind of pry it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and mount this door. So I'm going to put that bracket back on and then get that done, and I'll be right back. Okay, we just did the same thing. Got that one in there. So when these close, I can't close it because I have it partially attached. And I had to clean up the area where those lower hinges slide in. Rusted to hell. This is Iowa, so that's why we're replacing this stuff, because it was all rusted. So I'm gonna go ahead and hook this stuff up. I'm gonna get this cylinder out of the way though. So I actually flip-flopped the wrong seal. So I'll have to flip-flop those. Not a big deal, they slide right off. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that on. And then I'm gonna put that little bracket. Here's what those brackets look like outside. But they are clocked, so they only go in one way. So make sure and pay attention to that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this put together. I'm just gonna put that one rod on first, and then this actually goes straight to that part on the cylinder, and then that part of the cylinder goes to that one back there. You can't really see it, but it's right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all that done, and I'll be right back. You might be wondering how you get that lower bolt on, because it goes like that. If you set the nut underneath of that piece, the bolt's actually long enough to catch it, and you can just zing it right on. Easy peasy. So I'm going to go ahead and put the cylinder back on, and we'll be right back. Okay. So that is hooked up on both sides. So let's test it. We're short on air pressure. But it operates smoothly. So, I'm going to go ahead and slide these seals back off, and then I'm going to button all this back up, and then call it a day. Alright, we're going to pull this little beauty panel off for the inside of the new door. Alright, we got that panel off. Now we're going to pull that screw off and try to get this. Okay, to get this rod out, it's actually kind of difficult. So this guy right here is in there, and you actually need to separate that right there, and it unlocks the shaft, because that lock sits right there. So that lock sits right there. So you spread this open, and you can pull this rod out. It sits like this. And then if you pull that seal off, there's two screws right there. Pull them out, and then you can pull this guy out. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a pair of pliers or a big socket and pull that off so that that guy comes off. And there it is all out. So we're going to start by putting this piece in the other door, and then we'll throw this guy in there and put that on. Okay, all we got left is this stuff, and then we'll put the handle in there. So we're at this part right here. Just line those up right like that. And this big guy goes right there. So that's good. Put that right there. Drop it. Zip that guy on. And then put a screw to hold that top chrome plate in. Throw your seal back in. And there we go. That's a wrap. All the doors are in, seal's on. So this seal goes that way, and this seal goes that way, and they'll interlock. They're the same seal, just flipped. One thing, don't forget to put your bolts down at the bottom. I got to run over to the hardware store across the street and grab some new ones. Obviously, these are what my old ones looked like, so I had to drill the bolts out. But like, subscribe, comment, share us. Let us know if you have any questions. Deuces.